everyone, and welcome to the SavvyCast. Whether you are watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast, I am so grateful that you are joining us. I have a very special guest today, and she has been a friend and a hairdresser of mine for over 10 years. I love her dearly. Many of my friends know and love her like I do, and she's going to bring a very valuable bit of information to us today, and I'm really excited about sharing this. First of all, Kim, hello, and thank you for joining today.
Hi, Jamie. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and everyone, I sort of thrust this in Kim's lap like this morning, and she rose to the occasion and she made this happen. But I have really gotten so many direct messages, emails, messages from followers who have seen me put things online about my hair extensions. The interest is off the charts, which tells me that a lot of people have issues with their hair, that whether it is thinning, whether they have maybe had chemo, or it just doesn't grow, but they've seen my videos, they've asked me. So Kim, I want you to share all that you have to offer and all that we can have available to us if our hair is an issue to us. And I just want to say that my issue is hypothyroidism, the medication that I take for that, and probably also menopause and age. So I have hair that doesn't grow much, and it's very, very thin, very sparse. So Kim, why don't you just address some of the reasons that people have issues with hair, needing hair solutions?
Yes, well, there's many of them. It comes from hereditary, menopause.
Mm-hmm.
Many medications affect our hair growth and the health of our hair.
Mm-hmm.
Alopecia, trichotillomania. Alopecia is where you have maybe bald little sections or big sections on your hair. Trichotillomania is people that are like twirlers and pullers. Just baldness, it's men. It's just part, unfortunately, of a lot of men's lives. And as hairdressing and the business has evolved, there are so many options. The simplest options for people who maybe have just thin hair and need a little zhuzh in their lives. And these are just the clip-in extensions. This is for somebody who just has a little bit of fullness, wants a little bit of extra around their face. That is not addressing any of the issues I was talking about. The other things that we talk about a lot when we talk together are tape-in extensions. So this is a little bit more of a permanent solution for anybody whose hair is really damaged from breakage, from chemo, from drugs, from a bad haircut, or just fine hair. You can come in and these are taped into your head. They last 6 to 10 weeks when then you just have to move them up. All that kind of stuff we can discuss if you are interested at a consultation.
Well, let me stop you there and let me tell everyone, and some of you have seen this if you follow my Instagram stories, I avail myself of both tape-in and clip-in. I have a box in my closet that is full of clip-in extensions of different lengths, because when I go shorter, I have those clip-ins. When I go longer, I have those. But then I also have the tape-in. So I go and see Kim to have it lifted I believe, Kim, we've stretched it to about 7 weeks, maybe in between visits, because it's like if you get nails done, that might be another way to think of it. You have to go back because nails grow, and you have to go back because hair grows, and you have your hair taken out, washed, and lifted. Kim, can you address the difference in the clip-in and the tape-in? I have both just because I like to have, but for someone who's sitting there thinking, which one should I get? What's your best advice?
The clip-ins are for daily use or special events, Friday night dinner, going to church. They add a little bit more fullness, sometimes a little bit more length. So that's something you put in and out on your own. Tape-ins are a semi-permanent because they are put in at the salon. They stay in your hair until almost like your roots. They're connected at close to your root. They grow out. Just like when you get your hair color, you got to come in and move it. So that's not something you can do at your home on your own. You need a salon to do a tape-in extension. So you're not as much in control of that because you need the salon for that. But it's a little more convenient because you can shower with it, swim with it, put your hair up, curl them, straighten them. So they are like your own hair when they are in.
Yes. And I will say that when I try to go without my tape ins and I say, I'm going to put them in, I'll have my natural hair and just use clip ins when I want to. Kim, how long do I typically go before I'm back? A week.
He sees you, he says, call Kim.
That's right. That's right. My husband, that is one thing that he never hesitates to let me do because the difference is very dramatic. So I literally cannot put a ponytail in with my normal hair. It's just not there. So it's just very dramatic, the difference. Kim, can you address if someone's listening and they came to see you for a consultation, what is involved in a consultation?
It depends on what the consultation is for. I have two different ones. I have a consultation for extensions, whether they're clip-ins or tape-ins. That's one thing. The other next stage of that is women that don't have fullness and hair that they would like on the top of their heads. Extensions do not fix thinning on the top because you have to have enough hair to cover how tape-ins go in.
Yes.
So women that have thinner tops, that's when we get into something that's called a topper. And so this is a topper.
And for those listening on the podcast, Kim is holding this up and it looks like a beautiful wig, but it looks more natural than what I've seen of wigs before.
Well, and the difference between something that's a topper and an actual wig, it's the same product. It just sits on top of a head. So instead of having your entire head in like a beanie, this is just like a little, I'm going to show you, which is funny on me because I have curly hair. But what happens is it just clips onto the top of the head and your own hair.
A wig would cover the whole entire head with that mesh part, but this is just the top.
This is just the top and it just clips on in with wig clips and then it's styled and cut right into your own head. This is one that is one of our smaller bases. The base is the part that hits your head. Here is one that has a larger base. So if you had a larger section of your head that was thin, not just maybe the top, this is what you would put on your hair.
Okay. And Kim, I will say to everyone, I do have a topper as well. And the toppers are beautiful. And they're almost to me like if you're going to an elegant, very formal event, you can have options to have a different look than your normal hair. I bought one that had curl in it. I don't use it much, but I will never be able to curl my hair and make it look that way. So I invested in that and just to have that option. Now, Kim, if someone has had chemotherapy and they don't have any hair, would they go with the full topper with that has the complete mesh?
If somebody had absolutely no hair for whatever reason, alopecia, cancer treatment.
Right.
So if somebody had really no hair, they would lots of options, a wig. What a wig does, that's a daily. You put it on, you take it off every day. You're in control. Don't wake up with hair and you don't go to sleep with hair. So that's where we get into female bonding. That is almost like what we've talked to before about the men's bonding. Female bonding are pieces similar, this is not one, but similar to this larger cap, but it's all silicone. And that is bonded directly onto the woman's head. And so that lasts like 4 to 6 weeks just because the bonding breaks down, but they can swim in it, shower in it, put it up, wear it down, curl it, wear it straight. So it is like having a full head of human hair bonded to your head. But because it's only a bond, the bond breaks down, so it needs to be rebonded.
Okay, now Kim, let me rewind for a minute. The bonding is done with a wig because there is no hair. Am I getting that terminology right?
It's a little different. It's wig-like, but your typical wig is got a lot of monofilament and a lot of air and a lot of stretch and stuff to form to your head. The pieces that we use for bonding are a different piece because the base is a polyurethane, because you can't bond with cloth or silk.
Okay, so this base
It's
is
the
meant
base.
to, okay,
Correct.
attached to your head, yes, directly.
Correct. So the look is not wig-like, but it's the full cap.
Right.
Or a partial cap, depending on your situation. But yeah, it's a different product. It's not the wig that's here or this piece that I'm showing you now. This is not a piece that would be bonded just because of the product.
Okay, so Kim, how would someone decide, okay, I do not have any hair. Do I want a wig or do I want bonding?
So that's where I personally think a consultation comes in. It just depends on your lifestyle, what you want. The biggest question I say to people is, do you want to go to sleep and wake up with hair on your head? Because that's your answer right there. So if you want that, for whatever reason, your lifestyle, people that live in your house, your age, your career, or are you somebody who really isn't out and about that much? Maybe you work from home, maybe you're a little bit older and you don't want to have hair on all the time. That's when you would go to a wig. But that's a very personal conversation, and that's why a consultation is necessary for things like that.
Got it. And Kim, I never had a consultation just because I was always in your chair and you would have things and I would say, oh, I want this, I want this. So I've never had one. I feel like every time I'm in your chair, there's a consultation about something. But a consultation, am I correct in that you do not have anyone else in your studio at all except the person having the consultation because you value privacy above all?
Absolutely. So how I run my business is it's one-on-one, unless you bring somebody with you. This morning, I actually did a female bonding on her hair, and she had her daughter here for support and all that.
Oh,
So, I mean, I have no problem with somebody being with you, but if my typical thing is you and me. There's never anybody here when we do your hair, and it is 100% private. Your secret's safe in these four walls.
right, right. Now, Kim, as for the bonding, let me ask you this. When the person comes back, how do you take it off? How do you dissolve or how do you remove it? And do you put it back on that? Do you wash it? What do you do? What's the process? I know what it's like when you lift the extensions.
Right.
How is the bonding?
It's similar to that, except instead of doing a lot of little pieces, it's one big piece. So what happens is when you come after your piece is on and you're coming for a rebonding, and we spray it between you and your piece, which removes the piece. Once the piece is off, we'll remove any leftover adhesive and stuff off of your scalp and or your hair, depending on your personal situation. And then the inside, and I'm just going to keep using this piece as an example, but in this piece, if it was polyurethane all the way, it would have the old bonding on that. So we would take that off, we would clean this, we would clean her, we would clean you, everything gets shampooed, everything gets dried, we rebond you, we rebond her, I always call them hers, and then we reattach. Very similar to the extensions, except it's not a bunch of little pieces, it's one big piece.
But does it take about the same length of time? What, an hour, hour and a half?
More like an hour and a half, yeah. And especially depending on the length of the hair, because if we're drawing longer 18 or 20-inch hair, that's just a longer drawing time. It's not the actual bonding and unbonding, it's drying of the hair and how much hair there is. So like when I do a man, it's a lot less time because their pieces dry so much quicker because they're just smaller and shorter hair, where women's takes longer just because we always take longer.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, now, Kim, let me segue into the male option. And we did an IGTV, and oh my goodness, the feedback on that was incredible. Men talk about the options that they have.
So the option that I offer for men is bonding, like what we were talking about. So here is now there's a plastic thing on here, so it keeps it in.
Yes, to keep it,
a man's thin skin piece looks like, and I don't know if you can see.
Yes, you can see it.
So what it is, this is called a thin skin. It's polyurethane, the whole thing. So it's like almost like saran wrap. It's really, really thin. It's all one piece. And when it is bonded onto the man's head, it's almost like a suction. So you become one with your piece. So there is a natural hairline, there is a natural part. And on men, because men in general, because we're shaving, so it's skin to thin skin, the adhesive is so much thinner because the product is so thin compared to a woman's 16th of an inch, that it is so natural looking and it dries quicker, it bonds quicker, but because of that, and it's directly on your skin, breakdown of sweat, oils, all that kind of stuff, break it down a little sooner. So men are usually at that 4 weeks, where women can kind of push it to 6, 7 weeks.
Oh,
because it's just a different metabolism, different product, different bonding agent, because of the pieces are so different. But the main thing is the same. You are taking a very natural piece and bonding it to your male's head or your female's head. And just a little note on this, especially for women out there, the majority of the men that I see are under 35 years old.
Oh my goodness. You are kidding me. That is amazing.
Yes.
Wow.
Not that there aren't older gentlemen that come, but it is really the younger generation we have. You know, we've always had male patterned baldness and alopecias and all those kids, and those things affect men too. You know, we have a tendency to put all that kind of stuff on women, and men either have it or they buzz it, and it's an accepted thing. But men struggle with the same kind of scalp and hair issues that women do, and it's a little bit more of a culture thing with men, and it's a little, not that it's not very emotional for women, but it is very emotional for men too. And that's another reason why having a more private place to be and being able to talk.
So important, right?
And to go through that without somebody looking at the next chair, or, you know, walking through the window or something like that. Nobody is here, you know, peeking in when you have no hair on your head.
Absolutely. Now, Kim, if you have a male who just has maybe receding hairline, do you look at the head and see where the hair is gone and like only bond it there? How do you do? Because everyone has a different area.
Correct. Okay. So for the men, so let's just talk about the men right now. Absolutely. You do not want to take off more of the hair on a man that is necessary. And when I say that, let's just take your typical, what everybody can relate to, a man who has hair all the way around the back and the sides, but doesn't have anything like right in the center. Okay. So you only would want to shave off, and you don't even have to shave it off, but it just makes the bonding that much better, because this base of the men's products are so thin that even a little bit of fuzzy hair will make the adhesive not as tight. And we want it so tight on men, so you can go right up to a man and look at that hairline and not see anything but their hairline. So
I have an analogy. Let me see if this is right, because in my mind, I'm understanding what you're saying. It's almost like if you have a Band-Aid or a piece of Scotch tape and you put it on a hairy arm, it's gonna be flat, but yet it might move a little. It just won't be as snug as if a slick part of your arm.
Correct. Or as comfortable. So if you think about the that goes on and it's pulling one little hair, how uncomfortable that would be for 4 weeks.
Right.
So the best thing to do is clean by shaving the part that we're covering clean. It makes it adhere. So if you are only bald here, we can put a piece only here. If you're bald into your crown, we can do that. So that's why they're all custom. They all come in one big circle, and I custom every part of this for a man.
Do you custom that while he is there, or does he have to come and come back?
You have to have a consultation first for any bondable pieces, because I custom order. It's got to be the right piece in the right color, in the right texture for you. So, you know, I'm not a warehouse. I can't, there's so many combinations you can't have in here. So that happens at the consultation, talking about lifestyle, what you want. That's when you get color matched. That's when you pick, there's different types of products. Not all of them are thin skin. There's a lot of details that a man will choose from. At that point, then we order your product. Your second appointment is when we come in and we do everything. A mold is made for your spot. It's custom cut. The actual piece is cut to fit your spot. Plus it is cut to blend into your hair.
And is it cut, Kim, to the shape of the head? Because heads are shaped differently. Okay.
Oh, yeah, you can go on my website to see like before and afters, and with most of these newer products and people that know what they're doing, it is undetectable that these men are wearing pieces, and it's life changing. I mean, men, like I had one of my gentlemen, young, I want to say he was 26, 27. And after we put it on, he goes, Kim, my hair wasn't this good when it was my own hair.
Oh my goodness. Okay. It is all natural hair, correct?
Correct. Yes. Okay. So all the men's pieces are natural hair. The toppers can be synthetic and they come in human. But to bond onto a head, I only bond human hair. I will not bond a synthetic piece just for safety. Synthetic, can't be heated, all that kind of stuff. It's just safety.
Okay.
You wouldn't want something bonded to your head that's flammable.
Okay. But a woman who just sees a topper that she wants to attach to her.
Absolutely.
Okay. You can choose. And I would assume synthetic might be a little lower in cost, correct?
Significant.
Okay. Now, how long can the men reuse, or, they go, you do all the replacement, put it back on. How long do they go until they have to buy a new topper?
Okay. It depends on what piece so it gets put on every 4-ish weeks. They come and have it rebonded.
Mm-hmm.
The thin skin, the one I showed you that has the thinnest skin, because it's so fragile, it depends on how good the man is at taking care of it, but about 3 uses. But then when you step up to ones that are a teeny bit thicker, that have a little bit more monofilament, which are a little more breathable, the thickness is so slight, but it's so much sturdier. So that can last up to 9 months because the base doesn't break down as much. Because you have to remember, this is bonded right to the skin, not like a woman's piece that has the poly that's a little thicker. It's just a different animal.
Okay. So do men, as you explain this to them, do some say, give me whichever one will last the longest?
Some men, yes.
Okay.
And it also depends on the man, his coloring, his lifestyle, and the style that they want to wear. If you have a man who has fine hair himself, the hair that he's got around the sides or wherever, and he wants to wear a short, lifted, show your hairline hairstyle, that's when you need to stay with the thin skin, the one I showed you.
Right.
If you have a guy who's got thicker hair, wavy hair, maybe is going to wear it, a little more conservative, like a bang or a tousled look,
right,
then that hairline and it's still a beautiful hairline. Don't get me wrong. You can still do this and, it looks better than most hairs.
right.
But it's a thicker base, which sometimes it's thicker hair. So it would be more of a tousled look or a neater bang rather than maybe a slick, spiky look. So it depends on style, their own hair, their skin tone, their lifestyles. That's why a consultation is
it's key.
100% necessary. And I know sometimes they get a little frustrated because, once we make a decision that we want something, we want it. This is a big life-changing thing to not have hair for a long time and then to have hair. And it's a big investment. And that is why I don't rush into it with anybody. And I am not going to put a piece that I just happen to have here on somebody. It is going to be exactly the right color and exactly the right piece that is right for that person. So there's not one right piece or wrong piece. It's a personal thing, and that's where the consultation comes in.
Okay. And Kim, are you okay in general terms discussing ballpark figures for different things?
Oh, absolutely. Okay,
because so that is an issue, and
absolutely,
and I know because I buy new hair about once a year. It is an investment, and this is a little, I guess, a little bit of humor here but it speaks to this. A friend of mine and we're both open with everyone that we have, and you know who I'm talking about. We both have our tape-ins, and she was so excited. She was over at my house Thursday night, and she says, I'm so excited. I get my hair, my new hair. Her new, it was time to buy it. And she ran by, and I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful before, but you've been wearing it for a year. So you do have to get new hair eventually. But it's so wonderful. Even though it is an investment, you love it because it's just gonna make such a difference.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you about price, but I just want to say one thing that
Yes.
When we feel good about ourselves, whatever that is, we project that. And our friend that you're talking about, the excitement that she had just getting new hair, a hair that she's been wearing for 3 years or something like that, or 4 years. And it is, when you feel, it's like getting new shoes, or when you lose that last 2 pounds, having hair is one of the most vital things on us. Yes.
Right.
So let me go to the men's. It's easier to give you a better price on the men's because the size is the size. Women's, we get into different lengths.
Okay.
So with the men's pieces, the first piece is $750.
Okay.
And that includes me making your mold, cutting it, styling it, adhering it, all those things. Then every piece within a year after that is only $550 because that part is already done.
Right.
We already have that. Okay.
Right.
If it past a year, we would probably need to remeasure and remold because you lose more hair.
Right.
Gain and lose weight. So it does affect that party. So the men's to start off is $750 for one, $550 for everyone after that. If I rebond your hair, if you come in here, it's $150 every 4 weeks, or however your system works, how long you go, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks. And that's for the men. For the women.
Kim, let me stop because I want to make sure everyone understands.
Sure.
When you're saying the 700 and the 500, that's when you get a whole new piece.
A whole new system, a whole new.
Which only happens like once, maybe twice a year.
It depends on the system.
Depends on the system. But in between, when they come to get it taken off, washed, put back on, it's $150.
Correct.
Which is basically what we pay when we come get our hair lifted.
Same thing. Instead of a move up, it's a rebond. It's the
same.
Right.
Okay. Well, and see, if you really look at that and you break it down, and then you factor in all of the return on investment as far as the way you feel. Absolutely. To me, that is several trips to the grocery.
Yes.
That it's a no-brainer for probably most people.
And really, if you just think about what you spend on a sporting event or a golf game.
Well, I'll tell you, literally, if I need to cut for things like this, it is the grocery store. I spend way more than I have to in the grocery thing, the wheat thins, the things I don't need.
That's right. You're putting out such great meals all the time.
Well, but okay. So Kim, to recap,
sure.
For the women, we have the easiest, least expensive, and that would be clip-in hair extensions.
Correct.
Which you can do yourself. Once you've got them, you've got them. I mean, Kim, I've got extensions that I've had 2 and 3 years and they still look great. And maybe they still look great because I do them occasionally.
Correct.
But that is, and I will say to everyone listening or watching, even though I do have, and if you're watching, I'll show you here, I do have these tape ins, but even still on special occasions, I will go in there in my box and I'll get my clip-ins, and Kim has taught me, she'll teach you how to do all of this, how to put in a few of my clip-ins around the face. And it's just another level of, wow, this looks great. So you can do both of those. You don't just have to pick, but so then you have the tape-ins that you do, that you go back every 5 to 7 weeks, depending upon your hair growth. So you have that.
It's actually a little longer for women. Most women go about 8 to 9 weeks. They get crazier than most people.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Now, and then you have, for even, more of a need for hair, you've got toppers and wigs, and then the bonding for women.
Correct.
Kim, you literally, I will say this is also revolutionary. Just, I mean, is a lot of this fairly cutting edge and new? Because you don't just see this everywhere. At least I don't.
Wigs have been around and toppers have been around for a long time, but they are made so different than they were 10, 15 years ago. You think about your grandma who wore a wig. Everybody knew she wore a wig. There was too much hair. The hair looked fake. It was just didn't fit her right. That is not how they are made anymore. They are so less dense. Like grandma's wig was just too much hair.
Right.
Now they're just, the fibers are better. They're less dense. The colors, the color choices.
Oh my goodness.
Like it used to be, you were either gray, red, blonde, brown, or black. Those were your choices. Now there's probably, I don't know, 70 color choices, 80 color choices. Mm-hmm. So the product has changed. How they adhere to you with your clips and how breathable they are have changed. Same thing with the wigs. They used to just be one size, very thick, very hot, very itchy. Now they have silk fronts where if you really have nothing in the front, you have a beautiful silk hairline that nobody would know that just slides on. Now the wigs do not need any bonding. If you feel like you need a little more stick, you can do yourself with a little bit of bonding tape.
Oh, okay.
But that's something that's at-home thing that you can take care of on your own. Once you learn, I would teach you what to do.
Okay. Kim, I know you did at one time, do you still do halos?
I do not.
Okay.
I stopped with that. Halo is a brand, but it's also, they got their name for the little kind of headband with all the hair on the back. The reason I stopped is the hair, just like we're talking about the old wigs, it's too dense of hair. And somebody who wants that much hair across the back of their head usually doesn't have thick hair. And so what happens is your own hair isn't thick enough to hide the band that the halo hair is on. So I just don't feel like it's a natural option. We've come so far from the halo. So that's just the thing I offer.
And I did have a halo, and I can speak to what you just said. It never looked right on me. Unless you did it. I could leave your salon. You could make it look beautiful because you just make everything look beautiful. But you're right. What you have now is so much better and more natural and more. Okay, Kim, I know you probably want to go home. You've been working all day, but let me finish by asking, for those who might live significantly far away, what would you say to them? Do you have, and for people maybe who live within driving distance, can you do anything virtually, or is pretty much all of this in person? Because you've got to look at
I do have virtual consultations, excuse me, it's been a long day, virtual consultations, and that can work depending on the situation. Mm-hmm. The only time I have a real issue with it is for color matching, because as you can see, even us talking to each other, your lighting where you are is a little more yellow, my light is a little more white. So it kind of depends. So it's a flexibility thing. And if you live far away, you're usually pretty flexible. So if it's not something that I can help you with, even at the consultation, maybe you live in another state, the company that I work with and the company I represent that I use, we have stylists all over the country. So it maybe could be that I could send you to somebody that's closer to you.
Oh, that's
people that come from Atlanta. I have people that come from Tennessee. 2 people today, one came from Mobile and one came from Huntsville.
Oh, so, wow. Yeah.
But once you've got your piece, well, obviously the consultation.
Yeah.
Once you have your piece, it's only, an every once a month or once every 2 month visit.
Right. Well, Kim, this has been so helpful. And for everyone listening or watching, all of the contact information for Kim will be in the show notes. And Kim, the best way to reach you, I'm sure, is either your Instagram or what is the best way to get you? Because
the best way to get me, I would say, is either email me, or you can do an information contact on my website. Phone calls are very difficult because I'm behind the chair with a client all day. Right. And so if you need to give me 24 hours to get back to you also, because sometimes I just can't catch up at the end of the day. But you can text me Be patient. Emailing is the best because when you email somebody, no matter where you live, whether you're up late or up early,
Right.
doesn't
That's
matter timing.
That's right.
And then going right to my website, I'm very lucky. I have a great guy who built me a beautiful website, Chris. Thank you, Chris. It's got all the information there, and you can book online. You can book a consultation for extensions. You can book a consultation for wig and topper. You can book a consultation for a man's or a woman's bondable, and you can book other appointments. So the website is really
Okay.
it's got
Yeah.
all the information there. So almost anything that you would want to know, the website's going to tell you. And I know a lot of people do want to talk to me. You just have to be patient because I'm in the chair all day.
I know you are back to back to back to back to back. I know that. I see it, but it's because you're so wonderful at what you do. And Kim, thank you. Thank you so much. And to all of you listening and watching, thank you for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. And Kim, I'll see you, I believe, in a few days.
Sounds great. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.